time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Welcome in once again to another edition of the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. We'll be talking about Blake in just a couple of seconds. You might want to get your pens or your BlackBerries ready. People still use BlackBerries. Anyway, if you want to take some notes, you can. If not, you can just call Blake if you've got any questions about what you're going to be hearing over the next 30 minutes. The contact information, easy stuff, 843-808-SOLD, 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD is the phone number for Blake at Sloan Realty Group. Also, you can stop online at the website, which is blakesloan.com. Again, very easy to remember, blakesloan.com. We'll be repeating that contact information if you didn't get this time around, so to make sure that you're not left out of the cold. We've got a lot of stuff to get to over the next 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and get things started. Welcome in, Blake Sloan.
What's up, everyone? You got an awesome show, and I think we're tons of shows in a row now, so that's really good. Actually lost my voice this week, went to the doctor, got my voice back, so barely made it, but I'm kind of getting it back. So awesome craziness going on right now in the marketplace. So we have new numbers out, and it's all over the place. So some parts of the sales are down, some parts of the sales are really up. We had probably the craziest 2 weeks we've had in a very long time from our listing side. Offers on all kind of properties, especially the high end. So we're going to talk about what's going on there, what's happening with that. We're going to dig a little deeper into these numbers because we've got to find the patterns here. And I actually just did a story for the Sun News. It's actually in the paper this weekend. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I did the interview on Thursday. And long story short, we're really talking about this too. Some delays with the whole mortgage changes, this thing called TRID, basically the Dodd-Frank Act coming into fruition, slowed a lot of closings down last month, October. So it threw the numbers off, but at the same time, we're seeing massive increases in pending sales. So we'll talk about that, dig into what numbers are down, why they were down, also what's up. We'll kind of talk about that as well. Also dig back into interest rates. They're back at 2-week lows just after an 8-week high, so it's like a roller coaster lately. So it's important to know where you're at, what's important, especially right now. And going back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago, people were talking about during the holidays. Like I said, this has been the craziest 2 weeks we've had in a very long time, probably in the past year and a half. We really couldn't keep those offers coming in on property. So we'll talk about it in a second. We'll also talk about some of the success stories. I actually mentioned about some of those that happened this past week, kind of what we got under contract, certain type of properties, examples with those. Also talk about how to get the most amount of money for your home, kind of bring out a National Association of Realtors study, kind of 2 ways to get the most amount of money for your home. Also how it breaks down different searches in regards to how your house is priced on the search list, basically when you're searching different MLS sites, things like that. Also, we get time again, we're going to try to get that story about some of the biggest myths of buying a home. And that's something we had on the list last week, but didn't get a chance to. So we'll dig through those numbers. That's the most important part. If we have time, we'll get those other stories as well.
Well, it's always better to have more material than you can use.
Absolutely.
But if this is the first time you're listening to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show, as Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan, a little bit about Blake if you don't know about him here on the Grand Strand. He's been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid, featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, NBC, on Fox and Friends several times. A Realtor magazine, many other national publications, as you heard in the Sun News this latest week. Also personally endorsed by Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck. You've heard those right here on this radio station. Put all that stuff together, just unprecedented in the real estate world. Now, every week, and again, if you're new to the show, you might not know some of the trademark systems that Blake employs, but even if you have listened to the show on a regular basis, we need to reinforce those things because that's kind of the most important thing that you want to make sure and get in everybody's mind every week.
I can tell you, I can't say it enough. Like, perfect example. This week, I talked with a seller, $2 million home. He's had his house listed for 1,700 days in a row. 1,700, right? So I mean, think about that. A year is 365, and with different agents. Some agents twice, right? So that's why, man, it's not your house, right? It's the agent that you choose. So this is why it's so important to say this. And this is a guy from a radio show. He doesn't live in town. Very successful guy, but he's in town every once in a while, so maybe listen right now. But long story short, the single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller or a home buyer is 100% determined by the agent that you choose. Period. The team or the agent, their strategy is 100% what determines that. Not your house, not the paint colors, not what it looks like. Obviously, some minor details that can help influence that a little bit, but it's 100% their strategy, their marketing exposure. Period. That's it. So what we did, and we have a proven repeatable system for that. So what I did, for example, in the home selling process, there's 118 variables from A to Z. So when you start that process, all the way to getting it sold successfully. There's 118 variables, so what we did, reverse engineered every single one of those, actually literally wrote them down, put them in the system, and create a proactive system that creates maximum leverage for our clients at every single one of those variable points. So at the end, it gives our client a very significant competitive advantage in the process, right? So that's called our guaranteed sold system. It's the only proven system to sell homes twice as fast and for up to 21% more money than traditional methods. And for our home buyers out there, we have our unfair advantage home buying system. It's the only proven system, gets you priority access to all the highest deals, foreclosure, distress sales, desperate sellers. Also access to the absolute best financing, the most aggressive lenders who lend the most money for the best rate. So that's for our home buyers out there. And each of these, like I mentioned, reverse engineer to create maximum leverage for our client and give them the ultimate competitive advantage when they're buying or selling.
So we've got a lot of stuff to get to, as I said. We're just scratching the surface. Coming up in just a second, we'll look at some of the real estate market numbers. And speaking of numbers, the most important number, mortgage rates, interest rates. It's all coming up in just a second. Remember, if you do want to get in touch with Blake, easy to do. Phone number is 808-SOLD. S-O-L-D. That's 843-808-SOLD. Or you can go online to BlakeSloan.com. That's BlakeSloan.com. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. Now, if you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely critical. Now, that's exactly why you need to talk to Blake Sloan at Sloan Realty Group. Now, Blake has a marketing system on a whole different level than anyone else in Myrtle Beach. It's so effective at capturing local buyers from around the world that he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and a deadline that you agree to, or Blake's going to buy it. While most agents rely on yard signs and open houses that attract the occasional buyer, Blake attracts hundreds of buyers each month, which creates demand and helps your property sell fast and for top dollar. Now, that's why, on average, Blake sells a property every single day of the year and is ranked among the top 100 agents in the entire U.S. by the Wall Street Journal. Now, working with Blake is risk-free. If you're not happy, Blake gives you the freedom to cancel your contract and pay nothing. So give Blake a call today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or just go online and see Blake's interview on NBC at BlakesGuarantee.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price and deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with the agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
The Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Remember the contact information, the website, BlakeSloan.com. That's S-L-O-A-N, BlakeSloan.com. Or you can call, as you heard, the phone number 808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. We'll be checking in with the interest rates coming up in just a second. Blake, what's the latest looking like as far as the real estate market goes?
Okay, so we got some awesome new numbers out here, and just kind of a breakdown of kind of where everything was at. So we just got the recent numbers for last month, October. If you look at single-family residential sales, here's the kicker. Here's the weird number, that sales for residential homes were only up 1.8%. So remember, in the past, they were up significantly, actually double digits. So like so far, year to date, they're up 17.7%. So why the dip in October is what we'll talk about in a second, right? So that's one thing that the article we were talking about was on news. Here's the other most important part. So here's the median sales price increased 10%. That's huge. That's what everybody cares about the most, right? So we've been talking for months now, supply and demand, supply and demand. Demand was up significantly. We saw a 17% increase in pending sales, right? And now we're seeing 17% total year to date. So for example, so far this year, even though with the numbers last October, they were better than last year, but usually we were expecting a lot higher than that. What happened on the 3rd of October? This basically, we could do a whole 5 shows on this, but the disaster that is the Dodd-Frank Act basically, kicked in these certain other rules and things that has to do with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. All these things that, long story short, it makes the loan process a lot more difficult, a lot more a pain on a lot of these lenders. What was happening is these banks and lenders, especially the big mortgage companies that some of these mortgage lenders are obviously submitting through, their processes were totally different. Everything is totally new and different. So, long story short, it delayed a lot of closings that were already in the pipeline. Doesn't mean people weren't buying. And so that's one thing we saw. Also, obviously, we saw we had the challenge in October of the weather for a full week, 2 weeks there. That also kind of brought that down as well. So that's something we saw that really kind of affected those numbers. But you'll see year to date we're still up. But here's the key point. It's sales up 10%. That's the biggest jump we've seen from median sale price so far this year, even almost so far since the recovery. we've been right around the 10% mark. So that was month versus month. Condo sales up 8.3% from the previous month, and 10.4% year to date, with median sales price there up 1.7%. So interesting there. Same thing with lots. Lot sales are up over 18% for the month, 7.1% year to date. That a lot of times has to do with what's out there. And the big jump here, I'll show you, there's some numbers where there's a bunch of bulk sales kind of bought in lots, where builders and everybody's kind of coming in trying to scoop up everything they can. Anytime that gets any inventory in, they're getting, basically when infrastructure gets put into larger plots of land and lots are available, they're getting scooped up pretty quick. So one thing to look at too, single family inventory declined slightly from September and is down over other periods, i.e. demand is down, right? Demand is up, supply is down, which is leading to this lag indicator of increased price. So median sales price up to $209,000. Like I mentioned, is 10% so far month versus month, of 5.6% year to date. So back to the basics. If you had a $100,000 house in January, it's on average worth $105,600 right now. Now, the one important thing here, factor-wise, is since we've seen less supply lately, massively increased demand, right? We saw that huge jump in price because what's happening, buyers are seeing things get scooped up. We're having a lot of things, multiple offers on them. Buyers are missing out, so they miss out in the first one or two. What do? They go back and they're making a higher offer on the second one, right? So another key point here to look at, and like I said, we're nerdy about the numbers so we can kind of make a good plan and make sure that we execute in the right way, is that the average list sale price ratio is up 100 basis points, meaning the average list to sale price ratio in MLS is up to 95%. So on average, if a house is listed at $100,000, it's sold for $95,000. Great news for home sellers out there, and that's because we're seeing increased demand, right? Less inventory out there, and that's what's driving prices up, which is huge for us, and that's good as part of the recovery. So we're going to see that going forward now. I'm going to get to some crazy more numbers in a second after I get through this year-to-date listed sale price ratio. It's up 95%. The condo sales, like I mentioned, up 8.3%, and lot sales were up 18.8% a year, and year-to-date they're up 7.1%. Now, that's kind of one thing. There's some bulk sales, so actually median sales price decreased for lots, but the only reason that decreased, there's a large bulk sale of lots that kind of came in there. So that's kind of one part that kind of throws it off. So here's the kicker. Where's things moving? We had the craziest 2 weeks we've had in literally almost a year from listing side. List offers on everything. $300,000 house in the Gates, another $250,000 house in the Lakes. Another one's both, and they're just separate. We already sold over in the Lakes. We got a contract we talked about a couple weeks ago. This is a separate one. Both these our agents have the buyers on, and the buyers came through us. We had another one on our Grand Dunes condo. We mentioned 2 weeks ago we just put our house on the Ocean Run contract. Just had another one this week, and the same portion was a house in the Pine Lakes Ave. Boom, another offer came in right at 97%. And so this is in the past 3 days. And I mean, there's other ones. We have sold other smaller condos. Tons of stuff that's all over the place. Now, where we've seen the most movement, high end. All the highest stuff, all 300,000 and above, offers. And those are something interesting to look at. So if you look at the overall residential sales, we're only up last month, I'd say, 1.8%. Check this out. The hottest part of the market last month, guess where it was? It was the highest part of the market. So the high-end market was up 24.8% last month. So think about this. Homes overall, right, only up 1.8. The high-end, which is 300,000 above. So our marketplace, the high-end of the market is 300,000 over, right? So is up 24.8%. Guess what the second highest was? Right below that. So 250 to 300,000. So if that's where the inventory is needed the most, and part of that, like I mentioned, has to do with demographics of who these buyers types are. They're seeing interest rates are rising. They're seeing this happen, so obviously they're capitalizing on obviously prices going up. They're more methodical. I mean, we have some people that have been searching on our MLS site for 600 plus days in that price range, right? We can tell a lot of our high-end buyers, they come from Google versus a sign call because they're really more methodical, and we track all this stuff. We track where they come from a source standpoint, and basically a lot of them, the high-ends, they usually come from a Google search, and they search very specific words that they do. It's interesting, and their search time, or we call it our sales cycle, their sales cycle is literally 3x of what an average house buyer, the $150,000 range is, because they educate themselves a lot more, they're searching a lot more, they know, like when we talk to a lot of our high-end clients, they already know the market, just as well as anybody else a lot of time, which is good, which is probably why they have the money to make the, offers that they do. But it's important. Right now the high-end is hot. We need inventory. Everything we got, over 300,000 that's priced right, is getting offers like crazy. And so that's kind of one thing that's interesting going into this part of the year, but it has to do also with kind of some concern with rates were going up. They were at an 8-week high before. We'll get to those in a minute, but also there's less inventory out there, and people are scooping up because they know demand is up, and you're kind of getting that feeling, right? At the same time, we'll kind of go to the other part. So getting all through these, so those are the top two. The hottest part, 300,000 and above. Second hottest part of the market, 200, 300. The third part is 150 to 200, up 16.3%. 100,000 to 150, up 9.8%, and there's a decrease in 100,000 and below. That is because there's less inventory out there, right? So that's kind of an interesting thing you're seeing there when it's broken down by. Now this is kind of showing, October last year versus October this year, the entire MLS there. So that's the one thing, a huge 24.8% increase in that area, which means now that's going to continue going. The lagging indicator of that is what? Price. So price comes up. We're going to see that happening here now. So that's why you saw that quick jump there, 10% overall. I don't have the specific lagging indicator numbers for what the 300,000 and above is yet, but that's kind of one thing to look at. Obviously, the same thing we're looking at there is inventory is down too. So days on market, guess what? The hottest part, 300,000 and above, down 5.9%. Average days on market is up 185 days on market, where before it was 197. So we're seeing this heat up very, very, very quick, kind of from that standpoint. The hottest type of house is basically 4 bedrooms. Well, listen, you're seeing a lot of those, obviously, then that price range move as well. So it's a lot of those numbers that are very, very important to kind of see what the increase was from that standpoint. And the one thing, too, we're seeing, check this out, 300,000 and above, guess they got 96.6% asking price. 200 to 300,000, 97.2% asking price. So huge, huge jumps you're seeing there. So these are the kind of early numbers that you can tell there's rumble in the jungle, if that makes sense, I guess, right? You're seeing that people right here in the high end paying 96.6% asking price. That's huge. That means that people are scooping up like crazy right now, because if you think about it, those are some of the numbers where you see a large amount off. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that, you're seeing a $1.1 million house, they're going to offer $100,000 off asking price, right? So you're able to, and then they go back and forth for a while from that standpoint. So if you're listening to this, and you had your house in the market before, and it did not sell, things are way different now. Way different. And that's one thing that we need inventory. Everything we have in that price range is selling like crazy. Like I said, we just put those two in the two in the lakes. We have both the buyers on those, because our buyer team, like I said, we'll explain kind of how that works in a minute. But they're on it, and they're hustling. And our agents are busier than they've been in a very, very long time, writing offers up and doing this parts of people basically coming in town to buy. At the same time, people who've been kind of stalking, looking to see what's out there to buy. So huge increase from that standpoint. A lot of that has to do with kind of interest rate story, I guess, which we can go into as well if you want.
Interest rates, what are those looking like? All
right, so last week they were at 4.04%, right? We were at an 8-week high recently. It's back down to a 2-week low again, where it was at 4% on the dot. So a 30-year fixed rate right now is 4.00. 15-year fixed rate, 3.24%. A 30-year FHA loan, 3.75%. Jumbo, that's 417,000 above. That's part of its high end, which is moving so well, right? It's still 3.83%. So it's way significantly less money, or less, percentage, I guess you say, than a traditional 30-year fixed. That's why we're seeing so much movement in the high end. Money's cheap, right? And it's still cheap, but everybody's seen that go up, and they're able to basically get a return on money somewhere else. They can get a loan on it for basically, under 4% there, which is great. A 5-year adjustable rate is 2.98%, so it's below 3% there. The one thing to look at too, and everybody's kind of talked about, so we saw it drop back down. Obviously, there's some chaos going on, obviously overseas. There's some other things, in other markets. But long story short, every time we see that, any type of chaos like that, people tend to put money back into the bond markets, right? Which obviously helps interest rates. But the one thing that everybody's kind of watching and looking for is the Fed meeting in December. Everybody is pretty much, the Fed has given out, say, hint after hint that several hints that they're going to be raising rates, right? So that was what was kind of leading to the rates rising up ahead of that, and that's what everybody's expecting to do. I've been looking through all these reports, all these experts in the industry. They're projecting on average to be about 4.63% by the fourth quarter of 2016. Now, with our administration we have here and everything kind of going on in the world right now, they're telling exactly what's going to happen with that, but that's based on kind of what the trends are, obviously, and what everybody's kind of the pressure is to do. Also has to do with some of the other markets and other parts of the world, but with that, that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Rates are creeping back up. Still, they went back down again, but that's just after an 8-week high. So we're seeing people jump off the fence to get things done. That's one thing that we're seeing, and I have a feeling we're going to see a huge jump in numbers for November. Also, I think we're going to see a big jump in December, because here's the thing, guys. You got to remember, that's one thing I was talking about in the Sun News article, or at least with the reporter. I don't know what she's published yet, but in that aspect, what we were talking about is and she was asking about, was the rain what caused October's numbers to be down? No, that would not, because here's the deal. Average for a loan is basically, you're looking at 45 to 60 days at this point because of that new TRID. Usually it's about 30, 45 days prior to that, but with that, if they were to try to write a home up in October, it wouldn't have closed there anyways unless it was a cash deal in most cases. Does that make sense? Yeah, so one of those things where, so ideally anything that's written up in October is going to usually close when? November, right? So now we're seeing all this craziness this past couple weeks here. We're actually in November right now. Unless it's first week of December, I will be out of town the first week of December, so if you hear a rerun, that's why. But at the same time that we're looking here, so we're going to see the lag indicator again in December. So long story short, based on our short-term metrics, which is the list to sale price ratio, which is days on market, right, which is kind of what we're seeing in these parts, we're going to see a huge increase here. So if you're thinking about selling, pull over right now, call me. 808 sold. Don't wait till Thursday to Google me and come into that. A lot of people tend to do that all the time. They get kind of scared. Or, look, here, we have non-threatening. We have enough business where no one is going to hassle you. You call and talk to our VIP concierge. They take your information, schedule an appointment. With Randy, as I mentioned, I'm back in the game now because it's it's what I'm very, very good at. I'm passionate about. I'm taking a few select clients every single week. I have no listing partner. Randy work with, and kind of one of the biggest things I guess we'll talk about in success stories in a minute is our business model, right? So I am working with a few, basically select clients a week. Obviously, I'm involved in every single aspect of our team with our listing partner that we have as well. So if you're thinking about selling, call us 843-808-SOLD. Call me. And then just talk, say, look, I'm thinking about selling, or my house didn't sell before, or I was frustrated, and I took off the market after my last realtor. There's so many we got sold that, guess what, they could not get it sold before, boom, guess what, we're able to get it in sold immediately. And it doesn't matter if it's condos on the low end. We just put, a $57,000 condo in a contract in this first week, this past week. And that was one of these other offers that we got. So there's a lot of things. We got another $150,000 with one of our awesome listeners, Brian Hall out there, if you're listening, man. We put his condo in a contract this week. And one of those things that we're having all these things happen. So if you're thinking about selling, if you've been thinking about it, you might be able to get a lot more than you thought you would have. And there's a lot of inventory drying up. Right now is the best time. Do not wait until January 1st when you're getting flooded with all your neighbors down the street who are doing the same thing. There's going to be buyers you're going to miss out on, period. All right? So there's people in town. I forgot to mention this in the previous show. There's people who are in town that are searching for the holidays. So let's say they're from New York. Their family moved down here. They're moving here now. They're coming down and they're combining their holidays. So since we're a vacation destination, people are coming here and combining the holiday and searching. Right? So same thing mentioned the guy, Brian Hall. For example, his family's from up north. They're coming down to be with him and actually stay in that condo for the holidays. So people are all doing that, and that's kind of one of the things that you guys got to think about out there. If you've got to sell, you think about selling, go ahead and get that early jump out there. It's not going to hurt you. You don't have to show it on Christmas. You don't have to show it on Thanksgiving. Obviously, but I mean, that's one of the things to remember there from that standpoint. So that's kind of one thing to look at. I guess that's kind of the last thing, and we kind of get to the other part in a minute, I guess.
Yeah, we've got still a lot to get to here. Remember, if you'd like to get in touch with Blake, you can. The phone number is 808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD, or you can go online to the website, blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com. Coming up next, Hot Buyer Alert. And as you heard, we'll find out some of the recent success stories from Realty Group. That's all next on the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show. Blake Sloan.
Hello, Myrtle Beach. It's Glenn Beck. And if you need to sell your property, you don't have
I ran long, huh?
the headaches.
That's all right. Like 22 minutes.
Because you have a celebrity right in your backyard.
You're only going to have like a maximum of 4.5 to 5 minutes
All right,
here.
that's all. We'll just hit these perfect.
Do you want me to even do Hot Buyer Alert? Or do you want to jump in?
Yeah, Hot Buyer Alert.
Okay, we'll start with that then.
We'll do that in success story. That's all that matters.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
The top 100 real estate agents in North America. I know personally met Blake, and I can tell you that his national marketing program is unparalleled. Blake gives you the option to get out of your contract at any point if you're not happy with his level of service, but you never will. He's the real estate agent I wish I could have called, Blake Sloan. Call him now at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or visit Blake's website and see his interview on NBC. That's BlakesGuarantee.com. Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group.
It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. The phone number 843-808-SOLD. That's Sloan Realty Group. Time for your Hot Buyer Alert. Blake and his team working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers. They're all looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area, as you've heard, anywhere in the range from $150,000 to $3.5 million. If you're looking at selling, contact Blake immediately at 808-SOLD, because there are so many people on his website, not just on a weekly or monthly basis, a couple of times here or there, but search on a daily or several times a day. They're so interested in buying in the Myrtle Beach area that they're back time and time and time and time again. Up to 19,331 as of this morning. Active home buyers on your website.
Yes, a massive amount. And we mentioned that because I spend over $10,000 a month driving traffic just to the site, right? So, like right now on these people's searches, Liana Fry searching our site. Here's a perfect example. She visited his website 420 times. She's looked at 792 properties, right? So that's one of the people, and she's a high-end buyer, and that's one of the things that obviously is important there. Like I mentioned, that they kind of have a longer sales cycle, but all these buyers from all over, a lot from here locally, like Liana, she's from Myrtle Beach, maybe listening, but a lot of them, we get China, Dubai, a lot from up north. Like you heard Glenn say a minute ago in our advertising, our buyers are not just here in the area. We get national buyers and international buyers because I spend the most money where the most eyeballs are at, right? So how am I able to do that? Because of our business model, period. We talk about this all the time, but it's that important to drill it in for anybody that's new or has listened or hasn't called me yet like they should, right? Basically how the difference is, the average agent out there, they juggle all the balls themselves, buyers, sellers, do the marketing, administration, closing, all that stuff there, and they have a certain amount of marketing. Me, I'm basically a team leader, and we flip the business model upside down. Have 7 full-time buyers agents all day long. All they do is hustle, follow the buyers that we have, bring them to our listings we have them, or take them to MLS, show them something else we don't, right? So that's why we're able to sell our own properties, but I'm able to spend more money to acquire a buyer client, period. That's it. So I can spend more money because worst case scenario, those 7 buyers agents are following them all the time and bringing them to our listings, or if not, they sell them something in MLS, right? Now, if I was a single agent spending $10,000 a month just in online traffic, I had 19,000 buyers, I would not be able to follow up with that amount of buyers, period, right? I'd be out of business. So, we got like 2 minutes left?
Yeah, I've got about 2.5, 3 minutes.
All right, so that's kind of the most important part that's important there. So 2 things I really want to hit before the end of it. We're actually looking to team up with 1 or 2 home builders, basically by the end of this year, or first month of next year. Last builder we worked with, we sold everything out he had very, very quickly. No one can touch our new home marketing stuff. So if you're a builder out there, if you know a builder, have them contact me. I guarantee when we sit down, they'll blow your mind. So we sold everything before, but obviously we have to adjust the market, and we can really, really, really help builders. We're looking at the stuff that the pictures are horrible. They have these garbage pictures for these houses are amazing. They don't use professional photos like we do. All these details in regards to how our business model works, able to really help them. Also, one thing I forget, a lot of people, we sell commercial real estate too, a lot of commercial real estate. So if you're in commercial out there, call me. But if you're listening to the show and you hadn't called yet, just pull over, write a number down, 843-808-SOLD. But real quick success stories, we put these houses, just got offers and contracts this week. Another house we had in the Lakes, $250,000. $330,000 in the gates. That we have a great, awesome Greg Atkinson out there. He's a big show listener, one of my favorite awesome clients there. One of our condos in Grand Dunes, we just had an offer on there. 2 other oceanfront condos we have on there. House center at Adam Pine Lakes. I mean, all these in the past couple of days. Now, we usually sell a house about every day of the year. The listing side here, these are all came in the last couple of days and all gotten worked out. So, perfect example there. If you think about calling, just call me. 843-808-SOLD. Don't wait to Google or something. You can do that later. I'm sure you probably already have, but what I mean is don't just wait. Just call us. 843-808-SOLD. And then basically, talk about VIP concierge. They'll kind of get your information. You can get your instant home evaluation too. Go to BlakeSloan.com. We can get your instant home evaluation online and kind of help you out from there as well.
And I know we only got about 30 seconds left, but you're always looking for people to join your team.
I need talent bad, yes. Also, we have way too many leads. Like you said, over 19,000 leads right now, and we're not going to turn that off. I'm not cutting back on advertising for sure. So call if you think about getting an opportunity into real estate or even level up your career in your life too.
Absolutely. The phone number is the same for all of that. 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808-SOLD. Now go onto the website address, BlakeSloan.com. That's BlakeSloan.com. Appreciate you listening for the last 30 minutes. Hopefully you got some great information. Again, if you need recaps on all of that, 808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD for Blake Sloan, Sloan Realty Group. We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake, have a great weekend.
Absolutely. We'll negotiate some contracts right now.
All right. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, it's your friend Sean Hannity. If you own property in Myrtle Beach, the national marketing plan of the realtor that you choose is absolutely